All right, y'all, and we are live. So, my name is Tiara. I've been trading for about 5 months or so now.
All right, y'all. And we
So,
are live.
um, that was my background playing. Sorry, guys, but I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about the basics of forex because I have personally started learning forex from just seeing my friends just be making money from their phone. And I'm just like, well, how are you just making money from your phone? Like that's just kind of weird. I've never heard of that. And then I started looking into it and got in different programs. But here I am today teaching on YouTube Live, part of the Rich Life Trading Group. And hopefully some of my people on here. So shout out to y'all if y'all are watching this. I appreciate all the support. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started with like kind of introducing myself a little bit more. So I'm 20 years old. I live in Vegas. Basically that's it. I don't really know what else to say. I just want to get into the charts. And also one thing I do like to do, especially since it's Sunday, I like to start the week off with a motivated mindset because the key to winning in Forex is definitely having the mindset of a winner. So what I mean by that is if you don't think you're a winner, you're not going to be a winner. If you think you're a loser, you're going to be a loser. So, yes, the Forex market can be intimidating, but you have to know at the like you have full control of your life, you have full control of what you want to do in regards to the markets. The markets, you can't control them, but you can control yourself. So that's the number one thing when it comes to trading forex is self-control. Undisciplined trading will lose you money. You will lose money being an undisciplined trader. I'll tell y'all I've lost hundreds of dollars, you know, blowing my accounts before from undisciplined trading, just trying to get that fast money. You have to understand that this is a process for some people. Not everyone comes up really fast. You have to understand that this is something that you're gonna have to put time into because it's not just like, oh, I just see money like that. You have to think about it. It's going to compound over time. It's going to work for you over time. So it's just like, would you rather grind to never have to work for money, waste your time to working for money at a job, or would you rather have a job? Simple as that. Do you want to be a job person, or do you want to be, I'm doing my own type of thing, I'm an entrepreneur type of person? Just think about it. Because Forex isn't, like the primary source of income for everybody. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start getting some charts. So okay. So I hope y'all can see my screen. Okay. I think everyone can see my screen. Cool. Okay. So what we have here is my favorite pair, GBP USD. So basically how I trade. So I would say that I'm more of a an intraday trader, and the difference between a scalper, swinger, or intraday trader is intraday traders aren't scalpers, but we are swingers. So what that means is while a scalper may go for like 20, 50 pips, I want to aim for at least maybe, 150, 200, 300 in that range. People that are swing traders are most likely going to be wanting to do like 500, 1,000 pips, holding pips for days and days and days. Intraday traders will hold like a trade for 6 to 8 hours, couple days, So it's like you're not scalping, but you're not swinging totally. So it's like in the middle. That's where I am, in the middle. So to explain my charts to some people, because it can look confusing. Basically, how I trade is also off of zones and market structure. Market structure is going to be your friend, because once you figure out that the market always repeats itself, you have the cheat codes. So let's just look at this on a weekly time frame. So I am a zone trader, and what these dash lines are, like the yellow dash lines, these are weekly zones. So what I know about weekly zones is that those are very important areas of usually reversal. So usually when price hits, let's say, weekly resistance, okay, his week gonna go down, most likely, just depending on price action, other market structure. Okay, if we hit weekly support, will go up. So just depending on the zone, price action, zones are areas of price reversal. That's what zones are. Zones are areas of price reversal. So just remember that. And how do you get zones? So basically, you want to find areas that have a lot of what you would call support resistance. So an area where the floor is becoming the ceiling and the ceiling is becoming the floor a lot of times, basically. So if you look at this on a broader scale, I'll zoom out like this, you can see how there's certain areas that there's support and resistance, right? Certain areas of support and resistance, where price is always hitting these areas and doing something weird, like this. These are all zones. That's why they're all highlighted. Because price action tends to respect zones. So this is the weekly chart. Looking on the daily chart, price ceiling floor, support resistance, yada yada yada. Everyone pretty much knows how that goes. Or I hope you guys know how that goes. And if you don't know how that goes, please go study. Please. Seriously. So I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more. So like right here, this whole like area right here, this is a place where price has reversed many times. So that's why there's zones here. And this is on the daily chart. I use GU as an example because it really follows technicals to me and it follows my strategy. So I love this pair. But continuing on. So basically, also the trend is your friend. So when I'm on this daily chart, you know, Naked Forex, I'm on this daily chart. I go to trend line and I draw a trend line. There's multiple areas that are being touched on this trend line. We say that 2 gives you like confirmation, and 3 or more touches confirms it. Like confirms it. So 2 gives you like that little hint, and 3 or more gives you that confirmation. So it's pretty clear to me that we're in here as of overall on the daily. And if you look at the RSI, which is the relative strength index, it's kind of hard to tell, but basically price bounced from, which is all the way down here. Price bounced and it's kind of making a reversal. If you use the RSI around this 50% area, it's usually an area of retracement. So looking at this, also all of last week, we had nothing but bearish movement, down movement all last week. You see these big candle closes. Daily candle closes are really key, especially if you're looking at the overall movement. So basically, we were at momentum down. Also, you see this is obvious head and shoulders right here. Once we completed this 5-way, we kind of finished out the formation of our left shoulder. We got our head and what I suspect to be the right shoulder. So if the right shoulder were to form, it would probably either on a smaller time frame go to this zone, but on a daily time frame, something like this, probably hit the zone to completely smaller than the frame. I said it could do it in this area, but over big head and shoulders that we're looking at, and also paying attention to like Fibonacci and my fib extension here. So when I did a fib extension from the bottom of this impulse to the retracement on a smaller time frame, which I did on the 1 hour, I believe, or 4 hours actually. So basically, fib extension kind of measures the retracement. So what I did was, what date was this? So around the time where this big bullish momentum started, I did the fib extension from the bottom to the top at that point. I didn't do it here on this one in particular. I did have another one, but I felt like that was jumbling the chart up too much, and I wanted to make this real simple by explaining fib extension. So I did it to here just because this is the zone area for 1.42500. This is the daily zone area. So I just stopped it, my fib extension right there. Yes, I realized that but for me, how at this point, and then I took it from there to down here. So what you'll notice is it gives you kind of like a hint of where, like, okay, this might be where the that bullish momentum starts to exhaust. And what do you know? Like, we have like a couple more candle closes, and then we have that drop. So let's just say, hypothetically, this would be a bad entry. I didn't enter here if anyone wants to ask, but this hypothetically would be a bad entry. That's why I said always look at price action. But for just measuring the retracement, that is what I'm using it for. I'm not using it for necessarily entering. I just want to clarify that. But so it did continue up for 73 more pips before it dropped. Now, you also could put it up here, and it kind of makes this have even more confirmation, because now look, okay, at the top of the head, we see this is obviously starting that downtrend. We're hitting that supply zone of supply zone, then we're going all the way down. Now we're going down to probably what we call the demand zone at that 0, where people are going to start buying. And also, conveniently, that's also where the end of that head and the start of the right shoulder stops. So for me, that gives me a good amount of confirmation to be like, okay, well, maybe I have something here. Let me just look at price action and things like that to see how this will continue. So look on a smaller time frame. You also see, since the market kind of started to open up, it kind of dropped a little bit more. So I'm expecting it to kind of finish out this, head to start the right shoulder anytime soon. It's Sunday, so I'm not really expecting much moves until like Monday or Tuesday, especially because there's a lot of GBP news coming out. Next pair I'm gonna go over is EU. I'm gonna check for questions really quick. Does anyone have a question? I don't even know I mean, I know how to use it, but I don't know how to use this. Okay, no one has a question. Great. Hope this makes sense to everybody so far. And keep going. Okay. I really like USD pairs, majors, just because they follow technicals, they follow zones, all of that. So EU, again, when you're doing zones or you're finding your areas of support resistance, you want to make sure that your zones are always in areas where price is going to be like reversing or doing like some major move. So like you see how in like almost all of mine, well actually not almost, all of these zones are being hit. Regardless, even if it's over time, all zones get hit because the market repeats itself. So like all the market kind of is like head and shoulders, M's. You know what I'm saying? Inverted head and shoulders, like all that is. You just have to pay attention to that bigger picture, you know? So look back to this side. On the weekly time frame, it looks like we're also in this like reversal. If I'm looking that this is a major reversal area, and there's usually some type of drop or there's some type of impulse of any type, bearish or bullish, in this area that we are in right now. So if I'm looking left, I'm like, okay, we're in an important area. There's something I need to pay attention to. So going from the weekly to the daily, this is where I started marking up at. So again, with the trend line, multiple touches of the trend line kind of confirms the trend. And look where we are. So just a little bit. All right. So around February, we had this big move to the upside around this very important area or zone right here. Then ever since February, this area was never like touched again. It went close around March, then never touches again. So this is since price hasn't touched, good sign. This is probably going to be a sell still because it's still respecting that trend here. Remember, there's a trend line here, there's a trend line here. So multiple touches of the trend kind of confirms that trend. So we have that downward kind of movement confirmation by our trend line. But what is a true uptrend? A true uptrend and a true downtrend. A true downtrend is making lower lows and lower highs. Uptrend is going to make higher highs and higher lows. So what are we doing here? Okay, made a lower low, but it was never tested again. So it's just like, honestly, if you want to be technical on this daily time frame, I could put a huge box around this and say that EU is in consolidation because it's not really doing anything if you want to be technical, but it's not really consolidating, but it's moving sideways. This is like a ranging market that we're looking at. If it's moving sideways, you want to call this a ranging pair. This is what EU kind of does. So, but in a what you would call, if this was doing this on like not really doing anything, and this was like small movements just to the side, you would call that consolidation. Just as a future reference, if you don't know what consolidation means. But this is a ranging market pair. We have big impulses and big impulses up and big impulse down. It's just so what I did was, just because I noticed that since this area isn't being tested, since this area isn't being tested, I was like, okay, why shouldn't I'll just draw a fib on here just to see how price continues to react. So let me show you what I noticed. The overall momentum is slowing down. So if we were selling here, right? If you're selling here, you can just extend it all the way out. I'm gonna extend it all the way out to make it clearer for everyone to see what I'm talking about. Oops, not that one. So extend it out. We started at the supply zone, demand zone. Okay, so it went up all the way to the 78.6. 78.6. Okay. Then it went all the way up, kind of wicked this 61.8. So then it went back down. So then I'm just like, okay, well, if it's wicking around these important areas, so doesn't that mean it has to go down to come back up? And also it's conveniently at the 50%. And the 50% is in my zone. It's a lot of confirmation and conflict going. So we had this big wick, this big bearish movement last week. So big impulse typically likes to give back 50%. So when I saw that these levels are lining up like this, I was like, wow, that's kind of amazing. And also even on the fib extension. So if you look at this, so from the bottom to the top of the impulse to the retracement, 50% right on the zone. So that's just like twice as much confirmation. So I'm just like, okay, well, price is more than likely gonna test this wick at some point. It may not go all the way down, but it might, you know what I'm saying? Test the wick, 50% retracement to the upside, and then we're probably looking for another downward move. So when I saw that, I was just like, this is really, really interesting, you know? Really, really, that's a really good setup. I hope y'all caught that. So this downward movement, right? Retrace to that 50%. And probably make that move back down. Make that move back down. It might, just might, test this wick. But at some point, to me, just me being me, it has to test this wick for two reasons. Number one, it's in the zone. Number two, there's two places, probably more if I look to the left, but there's two important places that there's this area of big support that has not been tested since March, really. I mean, a little bit here, but it has not been tested all the way, like beneath it a little bit since February, March. So that zone has to get tested at some point just because the market likes to repeat itself. Even if I look left, I'm probably sure I would see the same thing. Yeah, even here. So it has to test again. No one, no one knows because I'm not a market maker. So there's that. What else? These zones, guys. Okay, there we go. So basically, I was at market structure. I don't really know what else doing. Anyways, so we were on this very obvious uptrend here, right? Multiple touches still on this trend line. Just a little bit. Multiple touches on this trend line. Then we hit this zone, this very, very important daily zone on a daily time frame. And since then, this area has not been tested. And we also made a lower low. like a total, I would need it to say, or to at least test this area again. It would have to test this area because it tested this zone a couple times, but it never tested this zone. And it didn't make another lower low. If you're trying to say it's a downtrend, you would need more lower lows. If it's not making lower lows, it's trying to just at not a standstill, but it's not really doing anything. It's just kind of, maybe this is really a retracement that's lasting a long time. This is the daily chart, so kind of what happens sometimes. So this area hasn't been broken yet, and it's just kind of acting as support. That kind of tells me, okay, well, if I want to confirm a trend or a new trend, I need to have some type of break here and test of this area right here, which is the 28.5 area. And also, I drew a fib from the top to the bottom, of this movement down. So right here. So in retrospect, if you're also looking at my fib extension, which I did from the bottom of this impulse to the top, where it hasn't been tested yet as of right now, that's a 50% retracement of this move right here. So like I said, the more you retrace, the more you're slowing down the movement. So if this movement wants to go down, I just made a 50% retracement, which is slowing that down. Also, when it hit this point, it hit 50%. So if the market gave me 50%, it's going to give me another 50%. So am I looking for it? That's very possible. So if I drew a fib, I love fibs, guys. Fibs are really good confirmation. So also, as of right now, if I drew this fib, you'll see that, let me move this out the way real quick. So if I also drew a fib from this most recent move, you'll see that it hit the demand zone, then it hit the supply zone, started selling, and now it's kind of testing that 23.6 area. So if you know kind of like what the fib level means, basically these two are kind of reversal and continuation numbers. Even on a higher time frame, not a higher time frame, even on the bigger move of this, like this little impulse here, you kind of see like that's the reversal and continuation zone too. So what I would be looking for with EJ, if I go on a lower time frame, looking at this as well. So on this fib extension, like I said, top of the impulse to the bottom and to the top of the retracement, it hits that supply zone again. And what do you know? Right again. Oh, trying to move this one. Okay. So again, hit that supply zone again. As soon as you get that from that 50, you hit the supply zone. So it's just like now you're just waiting on price action. You're waiting on like a good move to confirm if you think it's gonna keep going down, which according to the RSI is also very possible. And I think so. Hit the supply zone, we would wait for the candlesticks to do their thing. It's only Sunday, so it very could possibly, since it's only on the 23.6, very could test this supply zone again, and like we'll test this zone since it's in the zone and go up. Because another thing, this area hasn't really been broken. This is kind of, in a way, consolidation, in a way, to me, because these are kind of like baby moves. Like these aren't really, that's not really doing much. Like 100 pips all together is cool, but it's not really doing much if you're really thinking about it, because yen pairs are so volatile, they can do 100 pips in like one move. So for this to be a yen pair and not really moving up that much, it's just like, And it's also really not breaking this 23.6 yet. It's the level. So is it just like, is it consolidating? Is it, like what are we looking for? So that's why I keep saying wait for price action. When you're not sure, I box the candlesticks. Like I box the whole thing that I think is consolidating. Then I wait for either a breakout, retest of that box to the downside, or wait for a breakout, retest to the upside. That's what I do. If you're unsure about the direction something goes, this is just for any pair. You just wait for that breakout retest, and that's mainly when I enter it. Of course, you have to have more confirmation, but I'm definitely gonna wait out EJ just a little bit. I haven't been trading her. I didn't trade her last week. I traded her like 2 weeks ago. So I'm definitely looking forward to what it's gonna do this week. And these are the main pairs I look at. I don't have something up here. Do you think EU will retrace back to the 1.24500 area? Definitely. That's kind of what I was saying. Well, I don't know about 1.245. Okay, and we're back. So, thanks guys for sticking with me through my nut ass Wi-Fi. Anyways, back to EU. So, like I was saying, more so coming here than all the way up. And I kind of see what you're saying, because like that would mean it would retrace all the way back up to the supply zone. But I don't know. I don't really know if it'll retrace that much, because that means it will go all the way to the 61.8, and I kind of see how it's been following that 78.6 drop, then that 61.8 drop, then I probably see it going up then down after it makes that. I'm tracing it. Again with the DXY. So I don't even know where this came from. I usually look at the dollar index on my phone, so I don't know why I don't like looking at it on TradingView. But anyways, besides that, I'm gonna just delete everything. So if you don't know what the dollar index is, the dollar index tells you what the dollar is doing. If I'm trading USD pairs, then I need to know what the dollar is doing. So I'm just marking small areas here. Really thick. So these are kind of a few key zones that the dollar has been hitting as of a late leave. Okay, so if you notice, like I said, always look to the left. The left leave clues at all times. So, uh, so if you really want to think about it, this dollar has been selling since like the beginning of Trump's presidency. Draw a trend line. Boom. So it looks like we're at a good area for the dollar to start getting strong after probably one more retracement. So the dollar hit pretty much this big support right here. Hasn't been tested since. Actually has been going up a little bit. So we made the lowest of the low, which is kind of tested right here by these 2 wicks. Then we made a higher high right here and a higher low and another higher low, but we didn't really make a higher high. So because we haven't made a higher high, we can't say that we're on an obvious uptrend. Has to make another higher high, has to at least test this area and break above it for me to say this is a for sure uptrend as like forever or for at least a long time. So for me, this is not enough confirmation that for or the DXY, because you can trade the DXY. I would not as of right now because hasn't made that higher high. If you want to confirm a trend of an uptrend or a downtrend, you need to make sure you have the characteristics of one. Yes, we made our lower low, our higher highs. Sorry, we made our higher highs and higher lows, but I mean the higher lows. I keep saying that wrong. Higher highs and higher lows. That's what we made here, but we didn't finish making another higher high. So since this higher high wasn't broken, wasn't tested, wasn't made, I wouldn't be buying the DXY right now. It's obviously still kind of in that sell type of, position, but it looks like it's getting ready to get into that bullish momentum. So also if I drew a fib, same thing with EJ. It's kind of like it's been dancing on that 23.6 and kind of like dropping a little bit, but it's not really, dropping really, really deep. So, like I said, the deeper the retracement, more slow down the move. So we were trying to go up, but it retraced to the 61.8, slow down that momentum. Okay, we were going up, but then we retraced to the 78.6 and the 61.8. So now we are going up, but we're most likely gonna test this area, that 50%. Most likely gonna test this area, that 50%. Then we continue back up, because again, the market moves, includes the market, repeats itself. It never fails, especially when you have a fib and it's following the fibs like that. When it got so close to the 78.6 and the zone, then it made that higher low. It made that retracement exactly to the 61.8. Then we're going up. Okay, now we're probably going to retrace again to the 50% because we had such a big bullish momentum of the dollar this week. We're going to be experiencing a lot of retracement. Everything's going to be basically retracing. If you have USD CAD, I think USD CAD was flying. It was, I know it was flying last week. So expect a retracement on that pair. Expect a retracement on every pair that flew, everything. Anything that made a big impulse last week is going to retrace and do the opposite this week. It may not be as like big, but there is going to be a retracement. There's always a retracement after a big impulse. And if you don't believe me, look at the market structure. The market structure tells it all. After this big impulse, we retrace. Period. Big impulse, retrace. Big impulse. Now I'm just waiting for that retracement. Because the real traders know if the dollar is going down, any pair ending in USD is going up. Any pair starting with USD is going to go down with the DXY. Pairs that started with USD move like the DXY. Pairs ending in USD will move opposite of the DXY. So, on that note, I've been up here for a little while. Does anyone have any questions? I've been up here for like 45 minutes just talking. Anyone have any questions? Let me know. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And I hope everyone has a great evening on everyone's time. If you have any questions that you didn't want to ask on live, just hit me up personally on Telegram, any of my Instagram pages, social media, all that. If you have it. If not, you can message me on YouTube, I think. But thank everyone for watching. I really appreciate y'all getting on my first YouTube live stream. Thank y'all.